afternoon. Can you guys hear me? I feel like I'm really loud. Good. Well, let's start off by giving another round of applause to the Huntington Beach High School Band. What an amazing way to start this celebration. I think that the energy that the band brought, it's reminiscent of the energy that Norm Worthy brought to the work he did here in Huntington Beach. So what an honor and a pleasure it is to welcome all of you here today for the rededication of the Norman L. Worthy Community Park. But before we begin the actual ceremony, there are several acknowledgments I'd like to make. We have lots of people here. On behalf of the California Congressman Dana Rohrabacher, we have District Staff Representative Alexander Gonzalez here. On behalf of California Senator Janet Wynn, Senator Field Representative Joe Sturgis is here. On behalf of California Senator John Moorlach, Press Secretary John Sealer is here. And on behalf of Assemblyman Travis Allen of the 72nd District, Assembly District Representative Joe Carcio is here with us. And also on behalf of Assemblyman Matthew Harper of the 74th District, State Assembly Field Representative Chris Walsh is here. I would also like to welcome our very own Mayor Barbara Delgleize. And council members Jill Hardy, Billy O'Connell, Eric Peterson, Lynn Sameta, and City Manager Fred Wilson is also here with us today. And Chief of Police Robert Handy was planning on joining us. I haven't seen him. And then we also have members of our executive team here today. Kelly Fritzl and Lori Ann Farrell are here today. I'd also like to acknowledge several of our appointed commissioners that are here with us today. We have Community Services Commissioner Michelle Schutz that is here. Community Services Commissioner Krista Sterrod. We have Public Works Commissioner Ken Stanford. And Planning Commissioner Michael Grant and Mrs. Julie Grant are here. Planning Commissioner John Skindura. And Planning Commissioner Alan Ray. And we also have Planning Commissioner Dan Kalmick here. Now, not last but not least, we'd also like to acknowledge and welcome the members of Norm Worthy's family that are here today. It's so special for us to have you here today. And we're so grateful that you could be here as we get to honor Norm today. Now please stand for the presentation of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance by Boy Scout Troop 227.
Color Guard, attention! Color Guard, advance. Color Guard, prepare to post the colors of the United States of America. Post the colors of the United States of America. Prepare to post the colors of the California flag. Post the colors of the California flag. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that
would like to welcome Mayor Barbara Delgleize to the stage to talk about a little bit about Norm Worthy Park.
So awesome to be amongst some of the family. I mean, what heritage, what lineage. It's wonderful. I'm so glad that you're all here. You can be very proud, I guess, to think that your father or grandfather or whatever the relationship is, that he had the vision to plan parks in our community. It's really one of our greatest assets, I think. And from what I understand, he's truly the father of the city park system. Past and current residents have benefited from his vision and will continue into the future. Norm was instrumental in planning for Central Park in the city, and I know for a lot of you that's a very special place. I know it is for me. In the 1960s, Norm had the foresight to work with developers to preserve the open space. He also championed the need for parks and convinced the City Council to approve a $6 million park bond, which passed by more than 2/3 of majority. I'm very pleased to be a part of this rededication of Worthy Park and have an opportunity to honor Norman L. Worthy for his great contribution to the city of Huntington Beach and our wonderful park system. The city has also, I'd like to give a commendation. I don't know if one of the family would like to come up and receive it. Susie? On behalf of the city of Huntington Beach, we're honored to have your family in our community and for the great vision that he had. Brings a lot of joy and time of just true relaxation and lots of fun things to do in our parks.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Would you like to say something?
Well, I've got.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jenny.
Now I'd like to introduce our Facilities Concession and Development Manager, Dave Dominguez, to the podium to talk a little bit about the project highlights and park history. And I'd like to give Dave some kudos. He was the lead on our community services team to make sure that this project came in on time and in budget. So Dave?
Most of you know, and Jeanine knows quite well, that I do not like this part of the job. I do love the part of the job behind me, but when it comes to speaking and talking about it, it's not my forte. But anyhow, that being said, I just want to give you a little bit more history on the park itself. And as you all know, it was dedicated originally back in 1983, June 3rd of 1983. And at the time, it was actually developed as a joint project with the Huntington Beach High School District, where we had 7 acres city-owned and 5 acres owned by the school district. And there came a time when the sports were growing to such a level with the high school, they needed more property to meet their demands for sports, so they had to take back their park property for their campus expansion. So with that led us to the need to remodel the park. And as those of you know, lived in the community a long time, right there was a big giant 10,000 square foot pop-up racquetball building that was, back at the time, was the going thing. But over the years, racquetball diminished and the building was no longer profitable, and so we demoed the building and wanted to make way for some additional recreational amenities. So anyhow, with that, we took this project through several steps in the public process. With any park redesign, it has to go through our Community Services Commission. Many of the commissioners are here today, and what their job is to look at the components proposed, what the needs of the community are, and what kind of elements they would want to recommend to City Council for this park site. So with that, we looked at a need for practice fields for sports programs. So the racquetball building, demoing that, made way for that. And then also over the years, pickleball started growing in popularity, and it was listed as a high demand on our Parks and Recreation Master Plan. So with that, we were able to get commission and council to approve reconfiguring the basketball courts back here to pickleball. So that's another key element of the project, as well as the restroom that we put out here, as you can see behind us. It's here now. So with that, I just wanted to acknowledge the other folks that were part of this project. As Jenny mentioned, we're a big part of it, but it's totally a team effort when it comes to city staff. We have planning department, Public Works Department involved in this whole process, and I'd like to recognize some of the folks that are here today. We have our Director of Public Works, Travis Hopkins. We have our City Engineer, Tom Herbell. Some of the other members of the Public Works team included Denny Bacon, Maintenance Operations Manager, Todd Broussard, the Principal Civil Engineer on the project, David Delatorre, Landscape Maintenance, Joe Dale, Construction Manager, Jim Escudia, Construction Manager, who was responsible for the day-to-day, and also John Presbyzuski, who was also part of construction management. So they deserve a big, big, big round of applause for their efforts in this project. Before moving into construction, we actually had some entitlement review. We had some environmental review and some processing through the design review board. So we do, Scott Hess, I'm not sure if he's here today, our planning manager, our community development manager, and Jennifer Villasenor, planning manager, worked on the environmental. And Hayden Beckman's no longer with the city, but he was the actual project planner assigned to this project. So I'd like to give them a round of applause as well. We also have some members from RGM Design Group. RGM Design Group is the firm that actually designed the reconfiguration of the park. They worked long and hard. They listened to staff. They went to commission meetings to make presentations. So I'd like to acknowledge Zachary Meeting, principal from RGM, and also Andrew Steen from RJM. From the construction side of it, from Casa Construction, we have Sam Casbar, Tony Casbar, Charles Rami, Petra Zavala, and Sammy Tanos. I'm not sure if Sammy's here or not, but they're all members of Casa Construction. And as Janine said, the project was done on time and within budget. So that's a big plus for us. Lastly, I just want to acknowledge the rest of the members from Community Services that work on this project. We have Recreation Manager Chris Lamas here. Our Senior Analyst Elaine Kuki, who's back working, I believe. Ray Frankeny, our Recreation Supervisor. Charlene Gomez, who also put on all of this little party we're having here today. Nasha Sedano. And Tracy Hartman. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Janine.
Thank you, Dave, and thanks for leaving the binder. Well, now we're going to talk a little bit about Norm Worthy. I would just like to say, from my experience, that Norm was a remarkable man that left a lasting impression on everyone that he met. And I had the good fortune of meeting Norm back in the early 80s when I was a student at Long Beach State, and I worked at the City Gym and Pool part-time as a recreation leader. And that meeting was the only time I met him, but I will never forget it. There was something about his countenance and his presence that really spoke of his dedication to this community and the mission that he had to really improve quality of life for people. And that stuck with me enough to really cause me to continue to want to provide that for this community through my employment with the City of Huntington Beach. So I'm really grateful I had the opportunity to meet your dad. Also, I just wanted to mention too that Norm started working for the city in 1950 as a leader, a rec leader also, when there was only one park. And during his time as an employee with the city, through the time he became the director of Parks and Recreation at the time, the park system grew to 57 parks by the late 1970s. And we did mention, Barbara mentioned that during his tenure, Central Park was opened back in 1974, largely due to his dedication to that cause as well. So we're very grateful. But to give some insight as to Norm as a man, not just as an employee and as a public servant, is his daughter Susie Worthy. So Susie, if you'd like to come up and talk about your dad, we'd be so grateful to hear.
Okay. Well, I'm overjoyed to be here today and to see what a wonderful turnout in honor of our father here today. We appreciate it very much. I've got a couple of pages here that I'd like to share with you, so just bear with me. Some pretty interesting stories that I think I've put down on paper. As you know, my name is Susie Worthy. I'm one of the daughters of Norman Worthy. I am here along with my sisters, or my sister Ellen, and my brother Jim. And our other sister, Becky and Amy, are not here today. We have also our spouses, our nieces, our nephews, a few cousins, and friends in attendance today. Our family and friends are very honored to be here today for the rededication of this beautiful park with its new improvements, in honor of a man who dedicated a 33-year career path with the foresight, the knowledge, and the vision to establish an incredible recreation department and park system throughout this city for all the citizens and visitors to enjoy. Our dad's grandparents came to the Orange County area in the late 1890s as farmers and in business opportunities. Born a native of the city to a strong set of Christian pioneer parents and his own personal relationship with Jesus Christ, ultimately formed the character and integrity that made him who he was and who we and many others knew as Norman Worthy. He was a kind and generous man who knew so many people and liked to lend a hand always to help others in whatever capacity. As a young man, Dad excelled in many sports and games: swimming, body surfing, basketball, baseball, volleyball, track and field, tennis, and table tennis. I kind of think he would given Forrest Gump a pretty good game at table tennis. Graduating from Huntington Beach High School in 1942, Dad felt that he needed to leave his mark, and not just in sports. His name and graduation year forever inscribed in the bell tower he was very pleased with himself that he found the secret passage to get there to do that. Drafted in World War II, he served in the newly formed Army Air Corps stationed on Guam. Upon returning home, that resulted in marriage to our beautiful mother, Shirley, and moving to Santa Barbara to attend and graduate from the Brooks Institute of Photography. Once again, returning home with family on the way, he began his portrait photography business next to his father's plumbing store at 513 Walnut Avenue here in Huntington Beach. With a new decade beginning, in 1950, Dad began a new career direction that went on until 1983. He joined the Rotary Club in 1955 and did further studies at Fullerton JC and Orange Coast College. In 1959, surfboard riding became famous in Huntington Beach when our dad, along with surfing advocate Hoppy Schwartz, organized and held the first professional surf contest, the United States Surfing Championships, which led to the Wild World of Sports television coverage for several years in the early 1960s. This put HB on the map for the surfing profession in our area in Southern California. Norman L. Worthy left a legacy that we can see and enjoy every day, and going on into the future here in Huntington Beach. This park location is in the perfect spot, next to his high school, next to his office at City Hall, and next to his church right down the way at Main and Adams Avenue. Our dad was greatly honored to have this park named after him in 1983. He would have been very pleased with how his park has been renovated and improved today with this grand redecorating event. Our family today want to thank all those who put today's event together, and also to all those city departments that did all the hard work involved to improve the park. We all know the hard work that was involved in honor to a truly deserved, gracious, and humble man. Every resident, young and old alike, deserve an open space under the sun. Norman L. Worthy. Thank you.
So before we finish today, we would like to make some presentations. So if our mayor would like to come up to receive the presentations. First, on behalf of California Congressman Dana Rohrabacher, District Staff Representative Alexander Gonzalez is here to present a certificate of congressional recognition.
Hello. Hello, thank you for the introduction. I'm very honored to be here on behalf of Congressman Dana Rohrabacher. I want to thank Mayor Delgleize, the City Council, and the City of Huntington Beach for giving me the opportunity to be here and honor Mr. Worthy. If I may, I wish to present the mayor with this certificate of congressional recognition, which is presented in celebration of the rededication of this park. Thank you very much.
Next, on behalf of California Senator Janet Wynn, we have Senior Field Representative Joe Sturgis presenting a certificate from the California Senate.
Thank you. I am here on behalf of Senator Janet Wynn, and for the sake of brevity, because I know we have many other offices that would like to commemorate the occasion with a certificate from their respected offices, I'd like to present this certificate from Senator Janet Wynn to the City of Huntington Beach for preserving the legacy of a great leader in the history of Huntington Beach. Congratulations and thank you.
On behalf of California Senator John Morlock, we have Press Secretary John Saylor presenting a certificate.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here, and the Senator is happy to present this certificate of appreciation. He's in Sacramento dealing with a lot of legislation, and personally I've lived in Huntington Beach 30 years and use this park now and then myself and many other parks, so appreciate it. Everyone, thank you very much.
And next we have, on behalf of Assemblyman Travis Allen of the 72nd District, Assembly District Representative Joe Carcio.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having us. And I'm really honored to represent Assemblyman Travis Allen and to the Worthy family. And Susie, congratulations. This is such a beautiful park. I just want to thank all of the mayor and city council members for really getting this job done. I remember for 6 years, 8 years when on the city council, I always looked at that building, and David Dominguez and I used to fight over when is that thing coming down. And this is, look how beautiful it is now. So Jill was there, and she knew. We always thought about when that thing was coming down. So congratulations to everybody. It's moments like this when you're a member of the Community Service Board and you see what we can do and how quickly we can get it done. And it's such a beautiful thing. So on behalf of the California State Assembly, I'd like to present this to the mayor, and it reads, "Rededication and commitment to safe and enjoyable recreation opportunities," and that's signed by Travis Allen. So thank you very much. And one more thing I left out, I wanted to thank Janine and Community Services and Dave Dominguez, because I know how hard they work. So thank you.
And lastly, on behalf of Assemblyman Matthew Harper of the 74th District, we have State Assembly Field Representative Chris Walsh here.
Hey, Chris.
Good to see you in there. Well, on behalf of Assemblyman Harper, we just want to thank you for the opportunity to allow us to be here to rededicate Norman Elderworthy Community Park. And on behalf of the Assemblyman, we're happy to provide this certificate of recognition to the mayor and in honor of this park. So thank you so much.
All right, and before we cut the ribbon and invite everyone to come and play with us, we would like to acknowledge RJM Design Group for their sponsorship of today's event. They provided us with the decorations and the refreshments that you'll see. We'd also like to give another round of applause to the Huntington Beach High School Band. And we'd also like to acknowledge Diana Abrascudo, and I know I did not say your name correctly, for helping us with the pickleball demonstration that we're going to be having later. So we're going to cut the ribbon.